Hey you. Yeah, you. Do you have Discord? Well, I now have a Discord for my channel where you can discuss topics relating to my videos or anything casual related for that matter. Simply add me with this Discord right here and I'll send you an invite. Now, on to the video. My main man, Yongary. The cash-in homage made with help from the people who made that other cash-in to cash-in on this thing, which some people see as an homage to this thing. Hailing from the 1967 film with the subtitle Monster from the Deep, directed by Kim Ye-duk, is one of my favorite obscure kaiju in both design and the film itself, as it has the workings of telling a really interesting message compared to some of its better contemporaries. The special effects were done by Keiji Nakagawa. The nature of the film is interesting as it was a South Korean-Japanese co-production between Kidong Entertainment Company in Korea and the Toei Company in Japan. With the former no longer being around, we can probably surmise that Toei is the one who now holds the rights to this film and its characters. But history lesson aside, let's just look at this guy. A glorious saurian kaiju. Maybe even a Dinozilla. Shameless plug in the description. Superficially, he resembles the likeness of the kaiju whose popularity he's trying to capitalize on, but thanks to Masao Yagi, we're able to get a really unique take on a saurian kaiju, who, fun fact, is the son of Kanju Yagi, who is the brother of Yasue Yagi, who were the Yagi brothers who made the original Godzilla suit, plus a ton of other Toho suits. At the time, Masao was working on modeling suits for the Gamera series, so the final look of the monster seems to blend perfectly with the Showa Gamera's aesthetic, which is probably due to mainly the eyes having lights behind them, which causes them to glow along with the horn, like a lot of kaiju in the Showa Gamera series. And going past appearance, we have his powers, which take from two kaiju that were in a film released the same year as him, those being Gamera's Fire Breath and his Horn Beam, which matches Gauss. And just on a brief aside, can we just go into the fact of how many kaiju films that were being released at the time? I mean, just in that year alone, there was Yongary, Gamera vs. Gauss, Gappa the Triphibian, The X from Outer Space, and Son of Godzilla. And all three of the original monsters had some form of fire breath, like mouth projectile thingy of doom. Well, I guess imitation is the greatest form of flattery? Okay, with my spiel on design and history out of the way, let's get into it. Let's talk about the incredibly dynamic and introspective plot. It's basic. It's frankly quite basic. Very, very basic. So basic, in fact, that this script has it as a series of bullet points. Setup for relevant humans and locations. Nuclear hook. Monster appears. Hijinks ensues. Weakness found. Big boy beaten. But there are a few interesting points, such as Yongary appearing in Panpyeongjom, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, which is where the Korean War armistice was signed. There is a building in the film that is destroyed that appears similar to the Government General Building, which is a symbol of Japanese occupation in Korea, and Yongary seems to avoid destroying traditional Korean structures. In a way, you could say that Yongary was destroying the infections of the city to preserve the nation's soul?
Comedy.
Looking at South Korea as a whole, it's interesting to see how it's portrayed in the film. It's well built, a small bit of westernization, but very much able to handle its own problems. A far cry from how the country was in real life, as it was far less developed in the nations it would be distributing this film to, and it was this lack of development and experience which caused the team to ship off its original negatives to America when they were dubbing the film, resulting in their destruction. This caused the film to be lost to its native nation until advances allowed it to find a way to return home, and other American companies since have helped re-release updated versions of the film. Links to purchase one if you're interested in the description. Back to the film, the monster's defeat and weakness to ammonia, with its scratching and eventual death by allergic reaction, and rectal bleeding, or being knocked out in the Korean version, is definitely a more interesting, creative, risque way to kill a monster, I guess, or knock it out. Well, I mean, if he's knocked down with the Korean version, I wonder how that's gonna feel when he wakes up, you know? The only two things I can knock against the film are one, its dubbing, which is something that is always difficult to do and not necessarily the original film's fault, and the other is the child. This archetype is pretty common to camera films along with more child-friendly kaiju films, and it's something I can personally live with, though I will say that it's probably due to the dub that I find the child not exactly the most entertaining or nice to listen to. All this aside, why am I championing what is, in all intents and purposes, an extremely mediocre film? Now that is a story that will take you back all the way when I was much younger. Starting at a young age, I wanted to learn martial arts, and in my town there was a Taekwondo academy, and from there is more than a decade of learning the martial art, making friends, traveling to tournaments, and going to train almost every day. Felt like I was kind of connecting with the country through the martial art. Of course, I was also a Godzilla fan back then, and when movie stores were more common, I remember picking up a movie collection called Giant Monsters. I picked it up primarily because there was some Gamera films on it I did not have, as well as 3 other films I did not know about at all, those being the Giant Gila Monster, Warning from Space, and of course Yongary. Out of these 3 films, Yongary was the one I enjoyed the most, and after a bit of research, I later found out that the film was a Korean film, which made me connect with it even more when I was younger. But that's enough reminiscing aside. I hope you all enjoyed me talking about a film on its 52nd anniversary. If you want to go and watch the film, there is a free version on YouTube. However, I have several links to Blu-ray and DVD versions if you actually want to buy it and support it. But that's all, guys. I'm Zimzilla. See you guys next time.